Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Hope you've had a good week. We've had a great week on the channel. A bunch of different bands, bunch of different styles of music, but all high quality bands this week. And a lot of bands that are just ready to break through to the mainstream as well. Super dope. Now, today we got some cool music. We like to check this stuff out on the weekend, on the Sundays as well. This is some rocky, alt-rocky, grungy type stuff. Sounds like it's got a bit of emotion in there as well. We had loads of this stuff last week, which was very cool. And we got some more this week. So no problems. Now, this first band, they made a submission for us, which is super dope. This is Antigone. Their track is called Swimming to Saturn, which is a cool name. So let's check it out. Nice bass tone. Nice. Sounds great. Great drumming. Nice sound on the ears. Here we go. I wasn't expecting this heavier edge, but it's gone nicely into it. great drumming. I was totally not expecting that heavy section whatsoever. What a great song. Man, loved it. What a great song. It's got so much to offer, this track, and stuff you don't even expect it's got to offer as well. Really great job. Yeah, caught me off guard. Now these guys have just got a superb sound, a really great mix. You can hear all the elements of the band. The bass has got a great tone. The drums are nice and punchy. Nice amount of mix-up on the drums as well. And beat changes and energy changes to keep things interesting and catch you off guard. Very, very cool. Great guitar tones, lots of layers of guitar and a nice thick reverby tone within the guitars as well, and then that chuggy stuff came in nicely as well. And I just thought the vocals, was great as well, layered up nicely, reverbed up nicely, had a really nice tone to it, sat in the mix nicely, came in, had dynamics and came in with, waves of sound and stuff like that. Really, really cool. And the way it moved through the sections in this track was particularly nice. Had that kind of grungy, alt-rocky verses, again with that great vocal over the top, and then they dropped it into a bit more distortion for the choruses. And I thought that's as far as the distortion was going to go in this track. And I thought, yeah, it's nice that they bumped it up for the choruses with a bit more distortion on the guitars, and it kind of did jump up a level for that bit. Then they brought in that heavy stuff, the more metalcore edge, and it just went up even higher because of that. Even thicker, chunkier, heavier guitars, heavier drumming and double bassing and stuff like that, and pushing the vocal at that point. So it really had three nice dynamic shifts within this track. Now, my only nitpick on this one track is I feel like at the end of the heavy section would have been a nice place to end a track as well. I feel like going back to the chorus one last time didn't really add anything new to the track, and it kind of didn't flow as nicely going from the chorus to the heavy stuff as it did from the heavy stuff back to the chorus, because I think it felt like, the track was elevating itself upwards as we went through it, and then to go back to the chorus, because it had less distortion and was less heavy and had less energy than that heavy part, kind of dropped back down again. And I think there was no need for that. I think it would have been more of a nice, stacked up crescendo type composition if we'd have just finished then on the end of the heavy part. It would have suited me nicely. And as I say, I'm not sure that last chorus really offered anything extra to the listener or took us in a new direction or anything like that. So, man, what a great track. Really caught me off guard with that heavy section. I wasn't expecting it whatsoever, and it worked very, very nicely. So great job. Really elevated the track to another level at that stage. Super dope. Now, this is our good friends, and I'm pretty sure this band is going to go superb next to this first band. And if these guys could ever get on a tour together, man, there'd be two great bands together. This is our good friends Controller. We know they're a great band, and they're very similar in tonally, the vocalists and stuff, very similar to that first band. So let's see how it goes. This is a track called Shadows Left Behind. Let's give it a spin. This one's pretty dark. similar type of vocal, similar tone, similar kind of range within their throat. Reminds me of Tool as well. I don't know if anyone else is getting that. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the Tool vibe in the vocal. Yeah. Lots of double bass in these bands. More than you'd expect for this kind of music. Yeah, a nice chunky dark guitar tone in this one. Yeah. Why is it so hard to just let go? Why is it so hard to just let go? Let go. Let go. These bands are surprisingly heavy. Oh, is it time to leave these scars? Is it time to leave these scars? Oh, just leave them behind. Just leave them behind. Love the ride work. These memories are haunting. Why is it so hard to just let go? Why is it so hard to just let go? Let go. You had some pretty sick drumming in these bands. Loads of double bass work and heavy more heavy drum beats than you'd expect in a grungy alt rocky type band. And it brings in a nice heaviness and mix up and kind of a different type of heavier edge to the rocky sound. I like it a lot, but it's catching me off guard today. I wasn't expecting that. Now, we've had these guys on the channel a few times and we've had their newer stuff, and I've just noticed now that this one's from 2016. So it's a few years older. Oh, 5 years now. Jesus, getting on. I realise now that these guys have obviously changed their guitar tone over the years, because that's not the guitar tone they're using anymore. In the latest tracks that we've been listening to them, it's not as dark, it's a bit more fizzly now, but man, that is a nice guitar tone that they were using. Would be great in a real heavy metal band as well. It's got a darkness to it, it's got a thickness, a chunkiness to it, and a nice kind of ripping and tearing sound there as well. Yeah, sounded great, sounded heavy, and heavier than I was expecting from this band, because as I say, their guitar tone now is quite different. Great vocal as well in this band, and it does remind me of that kind of tooly, reverby, progressive rocky type stuff with a great emotion behind it. Feels like whatever they're saying is kind of really emotional and important, whether it is or not. But yeah, very, very cool. I think we're having a great day on the channel today. And I'm pretty sure this last band is going to kick ass as well. This is a band called Outside, which is a difficult name to find. If you just put in Outside Band into Google, you're not going to find these guys as a first result. But you know, that's what you get for having a name like that. This track is called Woodland Cemetery. Let's check it out. It sounds very, very cool. Great sound. Great sound. Great drum sound, great drumming in all the bands today. Drummers have really worked the energy, given the music the bounce and the sound that it needs, working the cymbals to give us different dynamics and changes from one section to the next. Doing a great job. Guitar is panning across your ears, gives it a nice spatialness. What a great track. What a great sound to that track as well. And same for all the bands today. Man, we've had an absolutely superb day on the channel today. This music is 10 out of 10. I've loved all these three bands. I think they've all gone back to back. Super nice. If you could set up a gig with these three bands, I'd be there, definitely. And rocking out to them all. And I think you'd have a great, emotional, rocky, with heavy elements as well. Night. It would just, there's a shoegazy element to this stuff as well, so you can just get lost in it. It sounds so dope. And I think the drummers have done a particularly great job today of pumping the energy into the music, but also moving us through the sections nicely, doing a nice fill before the next section, which just makes the next section pop even harder, working the cymbals, tinging the ride, doing tom work, doing double bass work even, which is something I wasn't expecting from these kind of bands. But all those things have meant that the drummers really pushed the energy through the music and pulled us through the different sections and dynamics that you have from one section to the next. They've done a great job. But I'm going to give this video to the singers today, because I think the singers and the vocal tone and the amount of reverb that these guys have got on their vocal really sets the music off. The music's great. The guitar and the drum and the bass in all sounds absolutely great, but the way that the vocal sits in there with that amount of reverb, especially on that last band as well, where it was sat back in the mix as well, a bit buried in the guitars and the music. It wasn't super upfront lead vocal, and because it had the reverb on it as well, that sits it back spatially within the mix. And man, it just sat in those guitars and the music so dope. I love that when a vocal isn't necessarily the loudest thing in the mix. It's sat back slightly, or it's only just as loud as the guitars and drums, and it kind of just meshes in with the music more. Then it's not like you've got the music and then the vocal sat on top of it. It's all just in there together, meshed in, especially when you've mixed it with some reverb as well. That helps mesh it into the sound even better. And I think the vocal today has really set this music off, brought in emotion into the music, give it a vibe, give it an atmosphere and a feeling, and it, as I say, it makes it feel like what they're singing about is really kind of emotional and important, and that comes through in the tone as well. So yeah, the singers really make this music sound super great, and I love it. I think we've had three absolutely cracking bands today. So yeah, super dope. And to be honest with you, all week, all we've had is great bands this week. High quality bands. We've had bands that are breaking through. I've just noticing that there's been a big festival set up, and they've put a load of up and coming bands. I think there's about 6 or 7 or 8 bands on there that we've had on the show. And I'm pretty sure most of those bands are the ones that I've said, look, these guys are good to go. Just get them, on a big tour, or get them in on a record label or something like that, because they're the full package. They've ticked all the boxes. They're 10 out of 10. And yeah, we're seeing those bands coming through on the up and coming scene, and playing alongside big bands, classic bands, the probably bands that were their idols growing up as well, because they've got some older bands on there. So man, I love to see that bands that deserve the recognition and are doing a great job get it. And I would say that all these bands today is exactly in that boat as well. So if I saw all of these guys on a kind of alt rocky, grungy lineup, or even more of a heavier one, hard rocky, something like that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because these are the kind of bands you expect to do well, because they've just got it all going on. No worries. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. I've really enjoyed these bands. Super nice. And especially that they caught me off guard with the extra heavy elements in the music, which I wasn't expecting as well. Great job. So I hope you've enjoyed the week on the show. We've had really quality bands this week. So if you've missed out on this week of shows, just click any of them and you're going to get a bunch of quality bands. Very cool. We're going to kick off with the grind tomorrow, though, as we do. So I hope you're having a good one, guys. Give us a like and a subscribe and all that garbage if you want to do that. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye.